Villarreal versus Barcelona is an absolute cracker. Juventus have unearthed a new gem. The Premier League dishes out another relegation. There's transfer news from around Europe, and of course, we have this week's great debate. That and more coming up in the next few minutes, as I'm your host, Matt Froelich. You are the One Footballers, and this is the Daily News. First off, fancy some of the Liga action from last night, where Villarreal and Barcelona played out an absolute cracker in a 4-4 draw. Barca managed to go 2-0 up, thanks in no part to a reinvigorated Malcolm, before Santi Cazorla really started pulling the strings in midfield for Villarreal. This saw them race into a 4-2 lead, but then cue Lionel Messi. In the 90th minute, the little magician put in a fantastic free kick, his 6th direct free kick of the season, before Moise Suarez hit an outrageous half volley with his weaker foot into the bottom corner to break Villarreal heart. This means that Barcelona, coupled with Atletico Madrid's 2-0 victory last night, currently sit 8 points clear in La Liga, and I don't really see them letting that slip. As for Villarreal, they are still dangerously close to the relegation zone. However, this kind of entertainment belongs in a cup final or something like that. Moving on from La Liga though, and to Serie A, where Juventus have unearthed a hell of a player, and it's Moise Kean. The 19-year-old scored 2-2 for Italy over the international break, and now he's come back to his club and found out that with Cristiano Ronaldo injured, he's pretty much the main striker at Juventus. He's responded to this by scoring 2-2, and last night grabbed the second in a 2-0 victory over Cagliari. Unfortunately, one of the main talking points of the match though was some reported racist abuse towards Moise Kean and his teammate Blaise Matuidi, but Kean responds to this on the pitch in the best way you can on the pitch, which is by letting your feet do the talking and putting the ball in the back of the net. Off the pitch though, Juventus manager Max Allegri did say that something needs to be done about this abuse, which has been on the rise in the last few weeks, especially over the international break. I'm not so sure whether stadium bans or not letting the crowd in or anything like that is really going to help. They've got to do something which will affect the club, maybe a point deduction. Now, I know a point deduction may seem unfair when it's just a really small percentage of fans doing it to the club. However, if the club find that all of these small fans are costing them points in the league, the club will then turn around and do something about it. They'll be more stricter about who they do and don't let in on the match day. But over to the Premier League now, and another relegation has been confirmed, and it'll be Fulham who will be joining Huddersfield and one other team back in the Championship next season. This for Fulham is an absolute disaster given the summer they had last year, where they spent over £100 million on 12 new players. This looks like they're going to have to get rid of quite a few of them because they could not have so many big name players on big wages in the Championship. Of course, from the player side, they don't want to be playing there, as is seen with Andre Schürrle, who had a clause inserted into his 2-year loan from Dortmund that should Fulham get relegated in the first season, he gets to leave the club. That clause has been activated now, so he will be heading back to Dortmund and not playing in the Championship next year. Unless he signs for someone in the Championship, but that obviously seems highly unlikely. As for Fulham though, what went wrong? Well, it seems like a lack of quality. They pretty much had the same sum the Wolves had. Wolves also spent a hell of a lot of money for a newly promoted team, but along with their fantastic victory over Manchester United last night, they currently sit in 7th position in the Premier League and have had a brilliant year. The likes of Rui Patricio, João Moutinho and Raul Jimenez have been brilliant, but for Fulham, Seri has not lived up to the billing, certainly not up to someone who apparently was going to move to Barcelona a year before he moved to Fulham. Elsewhere, club record signing Anguissa has been pretty poor, to be honest, and Andre Schürrle hasn't really found the back of the net enough. The only player who's come out and covered in any sort of glory are Tom Kearney and Alexander Mitrovic. Next up, we come to a roundup of the day's transfer rumours, where there is a hell of a load of action going on, despite, as we know, the transfer window being closed. Both Milan clubs, Inter and AC, are apparently interested in Chelsea's winger Pedro. At 31 years old, it looks like his time at the West London club may be up. Elsewhere, Mauricio Pochettino is hot on the heels of Juventus star Douglas Costa. Kalidou Koulibaly has sacked his agent, firing up the transfer rumour mill that he may be leaving Napoli. And lastly but not least, Roy Hodgson has said that he is planning to have Wilfried Zaha and Aaron Wan-Bissaka in his squad at the start of next season. However, if a big offer comes in, they'll have to entertain it. So lastly but not least, because it's Wednesday, we come to the great debate. Now, for those of you who watch every Wednesday, you'll know that our team over in the OneFootball newsroom come up with a question to put to you guys. You can see their answer and mine in the app by clicking on the relevant article today. However, in the comments section, me and the newsroom want to know, who is the third best player in the world? Now, it's pretty much decided that Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi are the top two, whichever way you put them round, but who sits at number 3? First off, you've got who could be the best in the future because of their potential, and that's like Mbappe. Then you've got who's on the best form, probably Raheem Sterling. And then you've got the stats, who's won the most trophies. But for me, when it comes to pure footballing ability, the only player who can rival Ronaldo and Messi has got to be Neymar. Now, I say what you will about all the diving, the play acting, the fact that he hasn't taken Paris Saint-Germain very far in the Champions League, But when it comes to the ability, there are things he can do with the football that no other player can do. I actually think he is the second most gifted player in the world, ahead of Cristiano Ronaldo and just behind Lionel Messi. Whenever Neymar gets the ball, he creates something. He draws the fouls, he draws the players, and produces brilliant moments of magic throughout his career. He's one of the youngest players ever to score 100 goals. He did it with Santos before he even turned 20. Now, what obviously is separating him between the top two is the fact that he hasn't done it consistently enough and doesn't produce the kind of output that they do. The amount of goals that Messi and Ronaldo score and the amount of trophies they've won are absolutely ridiculous. But in a very close third place for me is Neymar. Of course, you let me know your thoughts on the question of the great debate, who is the third best player in the world, and all of your other thoughts on today's daily news. Do you think any of those transfers will actually happen? Will Douglas Costa be moving to Spurs? And what do you make of Manchester United's loss to Wolves and Fulham being relegated? You can let me know all your thoughts down below. Smash the like button whilst you're down there, and also click here or here to check out all of the other videos that we've got going on OneFootball. But until next time, I will see you guys later.